think partnerships are extremely important for us to move towards a sustainable urban water management paradigm. What we have lots of external pressures that are affecting cities, and so we really need to develop innovations in order to address some of these challenges that these pressures will put on the cities. So for me, this stakeholder participatory process, coming together and trying to look at how the city should move forward and then promote research that supports that has been critical. And I feel that the big impacts which we'll make is that it will actually create impact on the ground. Research won't remain at the university, but it will actually be utilised by cities. The other issue that cities face is that the water sector can't solve the problems alone. The thing that affects water management in a city is manifold. We have issues of urban planning, we have issues of how we make our systems financially sustainable, etc. So what we need to try and do is to work with a multidisciplinary group. We find, for example, that urban water management is greatly impacted by urban form, and it's only by working with urban and spatial planners that we can try and develop urban form that is much more consistent with the way in which we want to manage water in the future. And this will promote a much more integrated way in which to manage water also. I think, one of the biggest challenges we have is creating imperative for change on the ground. And the only way in which we can really create the imperative for change is by having the support of the media to make people aware of some of the major issues that the city is going to face and really urge people to understand that there is a need to change and to support the changes that are being promoted. And also we need to have political support. It's only through political support, changes in policy, that we can really create the changes that we need.
World Water Day 2011 will be very special. First of all, because of the location, Cape Town, which has a very interesting story on how to deal with urban issues, how to deal with slums, which is of course for UN Habitat one of the major issues which we have to solve in the future. But we have to realize that cities are growing, and we will make that clear during World Water Day, where we will connect to the rest of the world, because Cape Town is the global event, but we will have World Water Day celebrations all over the world. So we really make this day something which people will not forget. Of course, we will also try to realize it's very much a media event. So our program will not be about speeches of organizations. Our program will be a mixture of culture, of media, journalists, of interviews, and so on, that we attract the attention, because we have to establish World Water Day as one of the major events every year on March 22nd, so that people realize that water is life and water is very important for you and mankind now and in the future. Now I would like to invite you to not only to watch and be aware of what's happening in Cape Town, but take the initiative yourself and organize a World Water Day in your school, in your municipality, in your county, and so on. Make use of the information which is available. There is a website, worldwaterday2011.org, where you can find all the relevant documentation which can inspire you to make your own World Water Day and connect to Cape Town. Make your messages heard. There will be internet connections, you can post questions during the day, and so we would like to bring the world together. And of course we are very happy with the modern technology now, that from now on, 2011, World Water Day will be a spectacular event whereby we connect the people, because water is not a local issue, it's also a global issue. So please be prepared, join the movement and celebrate World Water Day with this very, very pressing theme, water and urbanization.
I've been in the water business for 30 years, and we are now coming to a time that the world is starting to wake up, that water is an absolute critical commodity for our future. It's critical for our cities, it's critical for our lives, and we have an opportunity with World Water Day focusing on water in the cities for the mayors, the city leaders, for people involved in the big water community to come together and to solve some of these problems. If we don't solve them now, it's my children, your children, the next generation are going to be paying for this.
conversation is purposive. It is also about social relationships. And one of the keys we're getting out of this is social relationships are central to making a change. Equally, we're also learning, and I think a strong message out of this is that conflict is not only inevitable, it is very positive and creative. It is on that edge of conflict is where things happen. So we've got to both use conflict and resolve it. And it's the exciting bit, and it's how to do it. That social relationships, and that social relationships and resolving conflicts is ultimately what politics is about. In a sense, we have to become much better at politics, and that means including being reflective and understanding the process in which we are involved. So this is going to be an interesting final day. I think there's not been, I'm waiting for the media tomorrow to say, our job is not just to pass messages across. It is about creating this dynamic, saying what the stakeholders and the public want to say, and challenge the politicians and work between the two to make a more interesting dynamic, of which conflict is central. And so that is my final message. I want to see more conflict.